How's it going, guys? So here we have a quick video explaining some fender modification we have to do on the 2018 CRF. This also goes along with a lot of our other Honda builds. So pretty much we actually cut out this whole section on the OEM fenders. That allows us to use our own fender brackets, our own seat mounting. We didn't want this mounting on plastic, so we built our own metal design. It's a lot stronger than the OEM one, so we also trim up right here, try to get this fitted the best we can. You can put a bolt through here, but this is held pretty good with the factory mounts. We do drill a hole right here. We don't use the factory fender mounts. We actually put our own in that are shorter. In case you get in a wreck or hit a tree or something, we don't want those to constantly get bent. So just kind of flex and then go back. We also always check fitment on the front shrouds. Just make sure your triple clamps aren't going to hit. All right, guys, so for width of the triple clamps, we run these as tight in as possible. This is for a couple reasons. So when you have them as far in as possible, this allows you to actually steer a little bit farther. So you can see, get quite a bit of steering out of this machine. This also keeps the fender gaps correct. We don't want to have huge gaps on each side. We try to make these look as best as possible. This is a 350X or 200X style bolt pattern. You can see how nice that is. This also allows us to run a standard width axle, and by pulling this in a little bit here, it actually strengthens the axle because you're not having all that extra flex. Now anytime you go to a newer bike, every year it seems like they're making these brakes larger. This is a 2018, so this has a current size brake. We like the clearance part of the caliper. Just take the very edge off. We do that in our CNC mill. You can also do it by hand. That's just to ensure you don't get a rock or any dirt actually pinching between that and your rim. To fix this issue, we've actually introduced a billet front hub with the ability to run a 10-inch front wheel, 5-inch wide instead of the 11x6. This is a ATC 250R front hub in this video. In our future builds, we're actually going to be switching over to our own billet hub, which is right here. So that's our billet hub. We're just trying to strengthen up the front end on these bikes. This is the front wheel we're going to be switching to if you want to run a 10-inch setup. We also have our own heavy-duty axles. So this is the alternative to running a 30-something-year-old ATC 250R hub and axle right here. So we got tired of trying to source parts all the time for the builds. We're just trying to remake everything. Here's a close-up. This is our seat post relocator installed. All of our kits have different variations of this. On this machine, we just drilled one hole right here. We retained the factory mount here, and our plate actually slides right up in there. This allows our seat to actually attach to it. But of course, we use the OEM TRX 450R grommets on our subframe. We built this electrical mount here, and this actually just retains everything. You know, keeps it super clean, similar to the OEM location. You can see how clean that is. We don't have anything hanging out. The only thing we do have is some wires going to the battery. Customer did add some optional lights, so we have a couple extra wires. See, we put a tail light on here. But again, this video is more about trimming plastic and the mods you have to do. These are Meyer fenders, so they have some holes already drilled in them from them. We honestly usually like to run OEM, but for this build, the white actually matched better. So again, we trim all this out. get rid of the stock plastic seat mount. We're running our own. We put some little L brackets here that are fully adjustable up or down. We like to keep the gap between the fender and the seat as tight as possible. This is also our intake hanger bracket. We will be doing air boxes on some of these. This one was more of a performance build. Good shot of the seat post relocator. So yeah, other than trimming some fenders, again, checking your gaps all around. You are going to spend some time when you buy a kit just trimming plastic. So that's part of building these. Take your time. Use a marker, measure, have a buddy hold it. You know, don't just start hacking. Definitely take your time. Remove a little bit as you go. There's no real exact way to do it other than make it fit the best you can. And as you can see, if you take your time, they do come out looking factory. View of our foot peg here. We've had a lot of customers request Nerf bars or heel guards. We will be doing that here in the future. This is our headlight assembly. We actually put a switch on here. We don't typically drill the triple clamps for these, so when you get the headlight, you will have to drill and tap your triples. This is mainly because some customers want to run the OEM, some of them want to run the rubber mounted ones for the headlights, the 350X style. Some guys, they just run a number plate. And when we sell our kits, we actually usually drill 2 holes in the fenders and have one bracket here for the number plate. That'll be covered in another video. If you're running a fat tire, you definitely want to always check your gap up here. Always make sure your brake line's not going to rub. If you have an extremely fat tire, definitely run your brake line on the outside. Again, we're just not going to run wider triple clamps to compensate for wide tires. That's why we went to the 10-inch wheel with the smaller hub. We're just trying to give you guys some more tire options. That still allows you to go up to a 23-inch, let's say a 23/7/10 front tire. This is a 22/7/11 front tire. We run TRX 450R throttle cable. This is similar to like a 400EX throttle. Actually works pretty well on the throttle bodies. We've had no issues. We've actually been running thumb throttles on dirt bikes for years and years now. I personally run them on my own dirt bikes. Just a silly quad rider at heart. Well, I do ride everything. Another thing we do, we actually do re-angle the mid pipes on these. So on this model, we had to extend this out about, I'd say like 3.5 inches, and then bring the exhaust down for the ATV style plastic. So you can see I used some stainless material, TIG welded it back in, got the angles right. Everything fits nice. You always want to make sure your caliper is gonna not hit your exhaust. I recommend pulling your spring off and actually cycling the rear end through the suspension. Just showing you guys some close-ups. We're actually going to go back through and smooth some of these out before the customer gets the machine. But yeah, that's pretty much how you trim up your plastic. This will work for pretty much 2002 and up. I mean, really anything running the TRX 450R rear plastic. We do this on the Alta build too. here's a rundown on some tools you can use for plastic trimming. Good old tin snips. Works all right. Definitely like to use a Dremel. Be surprised what you can do with this guy right here. This will clean up all your edges after and actually remove any burrs. What we got here? I've actually used deburring tools also. Just a couple simple things just to get your plastic as clean as possible. And I honestly believe that's a big difference in a lot of the builds, is how much time you take with the fit and finish. We don't like to see any seat gaps or any of that stuff. Drill your holes back here. Little trick, just take a flashlight. Just shine that back there and just mark where the little piece is. You can actually partially see through the plastic. Hard to catch that on video, but definitely works great. Hopefully that clears up some of the questions. We're obviously here to help out over email or phone if needed. Email is honestly the best way. I like to document everything that we do. If the customer does need help with certain things, I can at least keep track of that. But when you do buy a kit, I definitely recommend a professional install. It's just a lot of little things you got to double check. Routing wires, cutting plastic, make sure you're pressing bearings correctly. Right down to setting your wheel gap, just being real careful, making sure nothing's rubbing. We do press the steering stem free of charge when you buy our triple clamps, so you're more than welcome to send us your clamps from your dirt bike, and we'll press those together. And if you guys do want them powder coated a certain color or anodized, that is an option. Right now we're just doing powder coating on the triples and all of our parts. That's something we do in-house, but we're looking into doing an anodizing in the future. Cool guys, well, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Any kind of feedback we can get, we appreciate it. We're gonna be seeing a lot of cool builds coming, so keep an eye out. Hit that bell so you get notifications every time we release a video. We'd like for you guys to at least check it out. We definitely appreciate the support. Thank you. Good man. I'm on the video. You cool with being on video?
No, go right ahead.
What's your name?
Cliff.
Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, just take care of it. I'm sure you will.
I will, definitely. Mr. Keith will very much love it.
Absolutely. He's got a couple boxes.